They're done working really hard here, and this is the 1975 Volkswagen, just getting coated now in the original CLR 719 wattle colour in 2 pack.
Well, good afternoon, and a few years ago what happened, I also bought a T3 VW Combi van, and what I thought I'd do is just bring you for a brief tour of my VW blocks that I have over here. So what I decided to do with the T3 is use it every day, and I also sourced a spare block. So amongst all my other VW parts and bits and pieces that I have over here, it's a collection of work that I've done over the years. Thought I'd take you for a quick tour of my workshop. So all the fleet of combis that I have come through this workshop, and nonetheless they don't leave my driveway unless they're in tip-top and showroom condition. So having said all that, welcome to today's video. So what I'm going to do is take you to one of my other VWs over here, and it's my 1975 Bay bus over here. It's a camper van, and it's just been sort of recently restored, and what I'm going to do is discuss 3 tips with you guys on how to look after your combi, because if you don't look after your combi with these 3 tips that I'm about to discuss at the moment, they can be detrimental to the life and the protection of your combi van and your motor. So let's just shift over here right next to the engine. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss with you guys is, in Australia, you guys would all know that we have a lot of hills, and everybody knows that driving a combi van is an involving experience. Okay, so we all know that when you come into drive a combi, like from accelerating the combi, from steering the combi, and you know, like changing those gears is a process in itself. So what I wanted to say, when we drive across these hill climbs in Australia, what we need to do is definitely change those gears and use that box very, very carefully. Okay, so don't go out and plant your foot down, you know, like when you're starting to feel an incline on one of our hills, because that can be detrimental to the life and the protection of your engine. So certainly use those gears. Now, what I'm trying to also say here too, like see over here, like we have the original distributor here with the original secondary advanced timing. Quite often you're going to find a lot of people change the carburetors and distributors and various things in their engine, and what this means is like that will affect the performance of the engine as well. Okay, so you need to discuss all this with a VW mechanic who's skilled and qualified. Now, I'm not a professional mechanic over here, but I've certainly faced 10,000 problems or even more with my fleet of combis, and I've had more than my fair share of problems and some driving challenges that I've faced, and I thought that's why I wanted to create this video today and share with you guys some of the challenges and you know, things that you guys need to know about how to look after your combi. So what we're trying to say here, go back to the piece about the inclines. The first thing that you need to do, number one, as I said, is change from 4th to 3rd gear, or even from 3rd to 2nd gear, whatever works the best to get the combi through the hill, okay? If you don't do that and you plant your foot on the accelerator, what you're going to do is you're going to put stress on this poor old motor over here for no good reason. And what this can do is it can cause harm, okay? Because pointing to the distributor over here, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do is you're going to advance your timing and the engine doesn't like it. Now, hence having said that, if you do go ahead and you change your distributor and put a performance dizzy in there, you need to change, your timing marks, or, like I said, like, I'm not a professional mechanic, but like, these are some of the things that I've done. I've gone through distributors in my past, and like, a non-standard distributor in your car can cause detonation to the engine, and the engine doesn't necessarily like it. So please use those gears very, very carefully, and you're going to find that the combi is going to drive so much better. In addition to that, there's a large fan over here, just where my hand is pointing, alright? So what happens if you don't change the gears properly, and these are air-cooled engines, okay, the flow of air to the rest of the engine, to the heads in particular, the cooling will be affected, alright? So you need to get up there onto those 3,000 revs at least, and just really make sure that the combi is going to go through nice and smooth. And don't worry about the ones behind us, you're going to get a lot of this, but bad luck, they just have to wait. Okay, the second tip that I have for you guys today, when you work on your combi van, obviously there's a critical piece of foam that's behind over here. Now, too many times I see this foam over here where I'm pointing to you guys, where my hand is right now. This is a critical foam. It's a seal as well, and it goes right around the whole engine. What this actually does, it prevents dust from coming into the engine, number one, and also it stops hot air from getting sucked in by the fan over here going into the engine. If you don't have this seal on, this can be detrimental to the performance and the life and the protection of your engine. So if you don't want to run around without this seal on, hey, be prepared. You're going to be up for about $5,000 worth of damages. Okay, because what it's going to do, like without the padding, it's going to suck in, number one, dust, and it's going to go straight into the engine from the air cleaner. And also number two, you know what the other thing that's going to happen? It's going to suck in hot air. We all know that the exhaust is down the back here on the combi. It's going to suck in hot air from down the back here straight into the engine. Unnecessary hot air is going to affect the performance of the engine. So please guys, this padding that I'm talking to you about, it came out of the factory like that must be fitted in your engine bay, please. Otherwise what's going to happen, and I'm only just saying these nice kind-hearted words for you, so you can look after your combi, which is just as much as what I'll do, because I've got a bit of you nut. Okay, now the last tip that I have for you guys today, when you get in and you start your combi first thing in the morning, I think it's just critical and essential that you please, warm the engine up a little bit. Give it a little bit of, like a time to warm up, just a minute or two. Don't just go in there and plant your foot on the on the accelerator pedal and expect the car to drive, Mickey Mouse. Okay, now I use a 2-litre motor in this beautiful bay that I have over here, and I've got its original Solix carbies. Okay, so what we're trying to say here, ladies and gentlemen, is obviously, when you start the combi up, allow it to warm up a little bit and let the parts circulate a little bit and let the oil reach its optimum, operating temperature. The viscosity of the oil, because they rely on oil for their cooling, is critical on your VW engine. Therefore, please, I guarantee it, you're going to get a much better drive, and you're going to be satisfied that the combi is going to run properly for your journey, regardless of where you're going to go. Ladies and gentlemen, look, my name is Ari, and I'm a VW enthusiast. Thank you very much for watching my video this afternoon, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Add any comments on the bottom there for me until I do my next video for you. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and happy motoring. There's always a story to tell about a combi. Doing a couple of small jobs in the engine today. This engine in front of us is the Volkswagen 2-litre motor. Just going to feed some wire for the lighting and the interior of the... never mind about the seats now, because they're going to be replaced short. So the pop top from this, quite a lot is about to change in this car soon. Now the look of the dashboard's going to change as well, so never mind, extensive repairs are going to be done inside. Great way to chill out today in my 1975 Bay. Feeling very stoked today. Since you saw me last, things have changed a lot. I'm standing in my freshly refurbished 1975 camper. Major upgrades have been done to the canvas and the pop top, as you can see. Now in my combi, I decided to use a full mattress. I still opted to use the original rock and roll bed. Wow, the front seat and the door cards are done in leather. Still a bit behind, but the dashboard is next. Me and my trimmer used a different technique to insulate the pop. Finally, I decided to go for this champagne carpet look. And finally, it might be to go from this to